Welcome to True and Unpolished. Through this podcast, our intention is to uplift, amuse, and inspire you to create more of a life you'll love. Let's get authentic, everybody. Hello, everybody. Uh-oh. Jim, you're fired.
Jim's back, y'all.
Oh, Jesus. So, hey, everybody. I'm here with Mary, of course. And Jim is back, everybody. Jim Dukes is back.
They kept me in a closet. I didn't go anywhere.
That's right. We gave him food. It was fine. In our last episode, we talked to Jim, and what transpired during that conversation was the need for us to all do, or the desire for all of us to do a project together. And then we were going to tell you guys about it. And we didn't know it would be this soon, but here we are. And when I say we're going to tell you, Mary's going to tell you, because Jim and I do not know what the project is yet. So, Mary, tell us what we're going to be doing.
Lydia and I draw a card before we get on the podcast every week. And I actually had her stop reading it in the middle of it because I wanted her to read it to y'all. And one of the things that is true about me is that if I tell the story or hear the story before we get on the air, then I cannot truthfully be authentic and fun and easy going. So I have to say, stop, I can't tell that part. So anyway, that's one truth. So Lydia, will you read the card that you drew? Because I think it kind of sets us up for what the challenge is about.
I agree with you. And she does that to me. I'll start talking to her and she'll go, stop. Just tell me when we're on the air. So I'm telling you guys that what you really hear is unpolished because we did not talk about it. So here's the card. And I want to say something about the card first. Sorry. So my personal belief, my personal experience is that the cards are just a tool. They're not guidance that's coming from outside of me, but it's guidance coming from inside of me. And the card is just a tool that my soul is wanting me
clarity. They're not predicting our future. We're not trying to predict the future or rely on some external source to tell us how things are going to go.
Exactly. And actually, it has to be in the moment guidance because there is no tomorrow. There's only now. So it's always guidance for right this minute. So here and the other neat thing, Mayor, tangential today. The other neat thing, Mayor, is that Mary normally draws the card and I then say an intention and then we get started. But this time I said, Mary, I wanted to draw a card this time. And she said, oh, I love it. And when I draw a card, I don't draw it. I keep shuffling until a card pops out. So this card popped out. And it is called a tall tale. The key concepts are denial, concealing the truth so you can manipulate and control a situation, fear-based communication, creating a narrative to hide behind, not allowing the fear of what others will think to influence your words, learning to communicate from a place of authenticity. You or someone else is telling a tall tale right now. You always know if a falsehood is spoken because it doesn't feel grounded. When you lie, you get high on an illusory sense of power that is doomed to fail at some point. You feel driven by the fear of exposure, but something makes you stick to your story even though you know it has no substance. Whatever lie we are caught up in isn't as important as the motive for it. Why does anyone lie? Perhaps we don't believe the truth is good enough, or we want to keep doing what we know we shouldn't be doing. Then there is the lie put forth while in denial, such as hiding an active addiction. In this scenario, we may believe our own lies. The tall tale, the white lie, the stretching of the truth, and the blatant fabrication are all about control. The desire for it, the lack of it, the need to maintain it, so we can manipulate the outer world and hide our inner one. Today, ask for the truth. Be willing to pay the price and be okay with the vulnerability your lie is exposing in yourself and others. Transparency is required to get you where you need to go, to be truly empowered to reveal the strength of what is true and authentic. Any other path leads to a dead end. Remember the saying, the truth will set you free, and get ready to fly unfettered.
That goes perfectly because, my first course, Create More, the 4-step foundation for art as inner work, is an altered book. And we talked about what an altered book is last week. And so this is the challenge. It's 8 weeks. And every week you will get a prompt. You're going to do something in a book that you are going to alter. So we all are telling a tall tale, and we all do as humans. We tell ourselves these stories. And so the challenge is to identify the tall tale that we're telling ourselves. What is the untruth that we're telling ourselves? And to retell the story or to create a new story. You're going to need is a hardback book and any art materials that you have lying around. It does not have to be pretty. We just are going to give the challenge. I'm going to give the challenge prompts, and then you're going to do it. And then we're going to come back at the end of 8 weeks and Jim's going to talk. But we're going to post these on our True and Unpolished Facebook group so that if you want to participate and do this along with the 3 of us, then we'll have it available to you. I actually this morning, I got a text from my friend Brittany, who I've talked about a couple of times. We talked about the story that she was telling herself. Her story was, I don't matter.
Got to tell a good part that you're forgetting. Brittany called Mary because she heard last week's episode with Jim and said, I want to do it with you. I want to participate and help you create it. Isn't that cool?
Which I didn't forget. I didn't forget, Lydia.
Oh, you didn't forget? Oh.
Oh, I didn't forget. But that's okay. She did. That was the really cool part, is she showed up for herself and said, I really want to do this. I want to help you come up with this challenge. So we talked a little while ago and she's helped me come up with the challenge. But I wanted to ask Jim, I wanted to ask you, if you would mind sharing, because you talked about the monster, like you believe that other people see you as a monster. Mm-hmm. And that's what prompted this whole challenge. And I wanted to ask you, because you shared with me a story of something that happened earlier this year, and that kind of confirms or proves this belief that you have about yourself. And so I didn't know if you would mind kind of sharing with us that what happened that sort of proved this truth to you, or untruth.
I turned 50 in January, and
happy birthday.
Thank you.
Oh, my birthday's in January too. I turned 40.
You did?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So I don't like to, some people celebrate their birthday like all week and make a big deal about themselves, or all month, things like that. Yeah, I just keep my stupid mouth shut, keep going. But my family doesn't live near where I live, or hours away. And so as my birthday rolled around, nobody asked me to do anything for my birthday. My son didn't get a card for me. He was with me. So he didn't go get me a card. He didn't make one, which led us to have a great conversation about that. And then when people found out, through Facebook, it was my birthday, nobody was like, hey, so what are you doing? What are you doing to celebrate? Can we get together? Blah, blah, blah. It was just, happy birthday. I got to reflect a lot that weekend on my value and the value that people place on me. And it was eye-opening
Yeah.
and it hurt. And
Yes.
especially, my son was upset. And that's what led to the discussion of, look, I don't need anything. I just, from you, you don't have to go buy me a present. You don't have to do this, that, or the other thing. But if you, just a note that says, I love you, Dad, would have been perfect, just to know that you were thinking of me. And he understood that. And so we've made that change in our lives. But
Well, I had this happen to me a few years ago, the same thing. And we were in the middle of a polar vortex. And what that is when wind chills and temperatures fall below -20 degrees. So you can't be outside, for 60 seconds, exposed skin or just whatever. So, and then my son had a stomach bug, and and Mary actually called me and didn't say anything, and I didn't say anything to her about it.
Yikes, Mary.
Yeah, everybody, it was nothing. It was crickets. But what I realized is that I always told the story. I didn't want to be disappointed, so I downplayed my birthday. I said, nope, I don't want reminders. Like, as soon as I joined Facebook, I tried to turn the reminder off. I had my first Facebook birthday like 2 years ago, because I've only been on for a couple of years. So, in any case, it was about me managing my expectations. And when I heard you speaking, what I heard the story, others don't value me. I think the truth is I don't value me. If you valued you would, what? Tell me.
Yeah, I would. It's probably some childhood baggage, but I think that growing up, drawing attention to myself, taught to be selfish behavior.
Right.
I don't know how to not ask for what I want, but then I'll also at the same time feel valuable without feeling selfish.
Yeah, without feeling egoic.
Yeah, like that's your ego talking. That's you're feigning for attention. That's not me. But on the flip side, it does feel nice to
Be recognized,
acknowledged, or remembered,
loved, cared for.
Yes, and those are not selfish things. But I think it's a knob adjustment, because the ego is really tricky, and it's just as egoic to undervalue ourselves as it is to overvalue ourselves. So it's a knob adjustment issue. It's like you've had it way down, so now you got to adjust the knob.
See, I think my image would be a little bit different. I mean, I think that is one metaphor, but also it's more like a cloud clearing, blowing the ego away so that we can see the truth, the authentic, truth of who we are too.
Whatever the tall tale is, we're all telling stories. Most of them are foundational. Most of them happened 0 to 7. Wouldn't you say that? Subconscious programming?
Yes. Yeah. And the thing is we appreciate Jim you coming and sharing this, because this is a very vulnerable thing. And this is not about Jim, like us fixing Jim. It's more about us we're in this together. I'm exploring my tall tale. Lydia is exploring hers, just like Jim is. So that's what we're doing. And we invite the people that are listening to do the same.
Mary, can I ask you a question? I think for me, identifying the story is a big part of this? Do you have
Right.
any tips for
And
identifying?
that's what you're going to help with, Lydia. So your
Oh,
challenge is you're going to create a meditation that that helps us to identify the story.
okay.
So so that's the first part of the challenge. And this is our unpolished for the week, because Brittany and we came up with the first part of the challenge, but we're also going to allow it to unfold and allow inspiration to come up while we're doing it. So it's not just this rigid kind of thing. And that's how I work anyway in my art therapy groups. I love to just, go with the inspiration. So that's going to happen. You may have your own inspirations as we do this. And Lydia and Jim, y'all can share if you have an inspiration you want to add to this challenge in some way, then that is welcome too. But the plan is, first of all, I kind of said this before, you need to get a hardback book, and you want to consider the title as it relates to the new story that you want to tell. And I would recommend that you go to bookstores, thrift stores, that you can get one for $1, but you may have one sitting on your shelf, that you've held on to, that you really want to transform. Maybe there's some connection or inspiration that you have something.
I do, but I don't know if I can say it because what part of my story is that I will get struck by lightning if I say it. So I was gonna say
it.
You're part of your old story.
My old story. So it is an old story, and I have let it go, I thought, but maybe not. But I think I'm going to use the Bible.
Weird.
You should have seen Jim's face.
Well, I think that's great.
Why would you get struck by lightning? Wait a minute. Wait.
Well, because the devil is going to get, it's, I have very fundamental beliefs, or that's what I inherited from my family of origin, and that is a very old story of mine. So yeah. Wait, he's got a thought for me, y'all. I like thoughts for me. Y'all got
what if you combine the Bible and 50 Shades of Grey?
I know. See, this is what I'm saying to you. What I'm going to do is I want to change, because aren't we picking the book?
Your new story.
The new story. Oh, we picked the new story? No, we make it a new story. We take the book and then we make that book our new story. And that's why I'm changing.
Okay, so Lydia, we're not going
there.
50 Shades of Grey, but I think this is my suggestion. Instead of transforming the Bible, that might be too much of a push, and you have to decide for yourself if it is. But you might take pages from the Bible, and include them in your book.
Yes.
And there may be a part of this challenge that that you can kind of come up with something to integrate.
Yes.
But go with, I think sometimes when we tell a news story, it has to be true.
Yeah.
But we don't necessarily have to believe it.
It has.
Okay.
Right.
So is Jim a monster? Because that's what he said last week.
Yeah.
That is not true.
No.
But that's what he believes.
Uh-huh.
And so the news story has to be something, like, the truth is I am human, and I have, darkness, and I have light. So that, that might be part of the news story.
Yeah. And I matter.
Embracing the dark parts of myself and loving those parts is important as important as embracing the light parts of myself.
Yeah.
So recognizing that I have to tell something that's true, but I don't necessarily have to believe the new story yet. I think the truth is that I have to respect the Bible because that is my background, and I can't. It might be too much of a push for you to just completely take a Bible and, but it might not be. I mean, I think it's just something to consider before you get started.
Yes. And the truth is that is not today. That would not be what I would do. I wouldn't do here's the thing. I put the Bible down, right? So I was taught that there was a God outside of me, that I was born a sinner, all of that. And so I put that down. And then through embracing my spirituality and recognizing that God is an energy and a power that we're a part of, then I was able to pick the book back up again, because it actually has beautiful metaphysical interpretations. And if you look at it as metaphor, then it's beautiful and I love it. So I think the reason why that came to me is because somebody listening needs to hear it. So I think it was actually for you. I'm not going to do it to the Bible. I have done that. I've redone that story.
All right. So I just did a retreat at this church, and we did this altar book thing that I'm doing in my courses, and they had Bibles at the church. And so I think that I think being blasphemous for me is a stretch too, but I think honoring your story in that way is certainly okay. And even this church was open to that possibility. They had prayer books too.
No, prayer book would be really nice.
The plan is you get a book, and you're going to listen to the meditation. So Lydia, what you're going to do is you're actually going to record it, and then you're going to listen to it too.
Yeah.
And it'll be posted. Lydia will post it on Monday in the True and Unpolished group, Facebook group.
I should probably join that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're invited.
You should definitely join the group.
Can we, as it goes on, can we put things, ahas, realizations we've had,
Yeah, I think that we'll post pictures, and we'll post, we want you to post pictures too, but we'll post ours so that you can kind of see, because part of this, you may have questions like, I don't know how to do that. And I would encourage you to take my course.
So you know what I'm talking about.
So that, it will give you ideas, and I go in more specifics, but if you are open and want to just jump into this challenge, then anybody can do it. Anybody can do this. It is scary, but and that's what Brittany said this morning. She was like, I have been working really hard. She said for the last 10 years, really, but really this past year, and changing her story, identifying the story, changing her story. And also she mentioned something about the creativity, she said, I've really been trying to tap into my creative side. And that's why I was inspired to reach out to you to do this.
Yeah, that's so cool. And, I just want to clarify too. And yeah, we have more than one story. We have many little stories we tell. One could be, you can't trust people, or people let you down, which might or might not have anything to do with your birthday, Jim. I don't know. But people are going to let you down. People aren't trustworthy. I am not okay. I am bad. I'm a bad person, which was part of my story for a really long time. And I still uncover pieces of it, because I don't think that it's necessarily possible to zap one story and get it out. You
No.
know, I think that, this really is an invitation to be, if you haven't already realized that you're telling stories about yourself, it's an invitation to go, oh, well, what stories am I telling? And here's how you know what stories you're telling everybody. It's your experience of your life, because we draw to us. We are not
Right.
victims of the world that we see. Although we feel, but that is itself a story. I had that story for a long time, and I have it even to this day. There could be, on this particular issue, I feel like a victim. On this one, I've risen above victim consciousness, and I recognize that I, am manifesting here, because we are co-creating, and we are creating our reality as we are perceiving it.
Right.
And that's why it's really important to identify these stories, because unless you like your life exactly the way it is,
Yeah.
your life exactly the way it is, then keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah. Preach it.
Amen.
Girlfriend.
Mic drop. I'm just saying. Wait, Jim, what did you say?
Who really likes the life that they have?
Sometimes I love my life, and a lot of times I like my life, but I've done a lot of work to create that.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just get stuck in the old story that I've told myself, and I hate my life.
That's right.
That's the truth.
And we can know that we've shifted somewhere in consciousness if we were liking the story and then suddenly we don't. And one cool way to do this is just to become curious. Like the next time, like somebody you love, your best friend, your mom, your dog, whatever, when you all of a sudden can't stand that person, you can't stand them in that minute, and you can recognize that, oh my gosh, I just told a different story. This is the same person, my story.
What did that person do to change your story?
Right. But see, I recognize that I invite into my life energetically what I'm radiating. So it's not, I like that word better than manifesting, because it's what we radiate. Michael Beckwith talks about this really well, but what we radiate. So if I radiate love, I'm going to attract love into my life. So I'll tell you the difference. A couple of years ago, right, I told you that I'd birthday, my best friend Mayor calls me, doesn't say happy birthday, but she called to talk because she had something going on with her. And I'm like, oh, I'm picking up my son's, cleaning up after he's throwing up because he's got a stomach bug, and my husband's got the stomach bug, and, polar vortex, and can't go outside and all that.
But now, sure, Mayor, let's talk about your problems.
Right. But then this year, my 40th was incredible. And it was because I, first of all, became open to letting people love me, because I thought I was unlovable. So I hid, the first part of my life, I tried to be really big and go, no, but you love me. Look, everybody, you love me. Look. And nobody did. And so then I said, well, I'm not doing that anymore. That hurts. So I'm not going to say, everybody look at me, love me. And then go ahead.
Well, okay. So I really want to ask you, because this is the challenges for us too.
Yeah, no.
Remember, so what is the story that you are still telling yourself that is not working? That's the question.
Right. And that's what we do the meditation with, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So that is important, because we want to focus on the story, that the past, so that we can create a new future. And I really love that about the work of Joe Dispenza, because his is focused on actually envisioning a new future. That's how we create a new story.
Mm-hmm. We have to be able to think greater than our past and feel greater
Well,
than
we're
our
addicted
current.
to our past. I mean,
Yes.
that's what that card was saying, right? I mean, it brought up addiction, and we are addicted to our past. So, for instance, as long as Jim tells the story of I'm a monster, then, I mean, I think this is what you're saying with the radiating, then you're
Yes.
radiating that, and that's what people pick up on.
Yes. Yes.
As long as and it's hard. I mean, Jim has a lot of us do have a history of trauma.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
real
I do.
trauma. And so how do you move out of that story and create a new story?
Right. Right.
And so I think, what we're doing is being vulnerable and willing to do this, to explore that old story, identify what it is, and also tell a new story and envision a new future.
Mhm.
So we'll see how this goes. But the second piece, so you listen to Lydia's meditation that's going to be posted on Monday. And then also the second thing, we got to get a book. That's the first thing. Then listen to the meditation. And then the third thing that you're actually going to do in your book, the first thing you're going to do in the book, the third thing for this week's challenge, is draw out yourself as the monster you believe you are.
Oh, wait a minute. But I'm going to draw out my old story, not the monster story, because that's Jim's, right?
No, you're going to create the monster that you are.
Oh, like we're all a monster, but which one? Like Miss,
Mhm.
is Miss Piggy a monster? I don't know.
She
But
could
like
be.
Elmo,
He's kind of a
Right.
right? So we all. Oh, so we're all
Maybe
monsters.
you're a little tiny, like
right piglet.
something.
well, Miss
Piglet,
Piggy
yeah.
really gave it to Kermit all the time, so she could be a monster.
She is a monster. I think they're all monsters. If they're Muppets or a puppet, we can call it a monster. So we'll draw out the monster that we believe we are. So it really is the old story, right?
Right.
So this monster is a reflection of this story that we have identified, that we are investing in changing. Correct?
Right.
And we do this so this is like this week, right? So we're going to do one each week. So
by in the end of 8 weeks, I'll be drawing myself as a butterfly.
See?
Well, Jim,
With
do you
fire
want to be a
shooting.
butterfly?
That's right.
No.
That's right. And
do you want to be a butterfly?
No.
Okay.
I'm just
so
saying,
no, you will not be
I'm
drawing
just
yourself
saying.
as a butterfly.
I sense.
But you will be using crystals and
and spray.
I sense that I will start out as my monster and transform into something better.
Yeah. It's something.
well, we'll see how that goes. I mean, not necessarily.
Okay.
Because what if the old story is I'm a monster and this is what people see, and the new story is I'm a monster that I like. You know what I mean? Okay. So
Or a monster I can just deal with.
yeah. And I think
that you like.
I think we're identifying a story here, Jem. There is a pattern, and I think it has to do with liking you. And I think 2 out of 3 of us on this podcast really like you.
Oh,
right. And also, Jim, you did say to me, I'm sorry to call you out, but you did say this to me, like whenever you told me that birthday story, you said, really, I think the lesson is I have to learn how to like myself. You told me that.
I did. Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that girl is good.
So sorry to call you out. We can delete it.
No, I was talking about this girl is good because I identified that story is what I'm trying to say. Everybody noticed is what I'm saying. All of you listeners, did you hear me?
Right. This might go with your story, Lydia.
I know. I'm so pushy. I'm like, here's my story. My story is I can see everybody else's story and I know exactly what they need to do about it.
What about yours?
Exactly.
Right.
Right. It's the man. And so whatever we prescribe for others is really we teach others what we most need to learn.
Mhm.
And you, Jim, have been teaching people to transform trauma and things into something beautiful, into a new story. You have been doing this for other people. And now
Because that's
it is
easy.
exactly. And now
Yeah.
it's about us turning the lens back on ourselves
Mhm.
and saying, oh, I need to do this for me.
Mhm.
I deserve this.
Yeah. The caregiver needs some care occasionally too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to revisit what's going on internally.
Right. Right. Well, I think it's going to be a super fun challenge. It's definitely going to be a super fun challenge to edit this episode. So I'll be up until 3 a.m. everyone. But I'm very excited about the challenge and I'm super grateful to all of you for listening. And I really hope you'll participate with us and, tell us what's going on with your stuff. Show us your monster. I'll show you my monster if you show me yours. Oh, no, never mind. We're getting away from this right now because Jim is just dying to say something. So, everybody, you have been listening to True and Unpolished, the podcast. Let's see what happens next.